right. Good morning, everybody. Good to see all of your smiling faces. That's the cutest smile if you're not. We're going to take a minute just to say hello to each other. So if you could stand up, give you an opportunity to stretch again. And let's say hello to someone. If you see someone you don't know, especially say hello to them. With great purpose, and I love this song because it says, this is the reason I sing, because of the hope that Christ gives. So we invite you to clap your hands with us. Come on, everybody. Let's try this together. We go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, repeat that one more time. 2 more. This is the reason I say. Last one says, Jesus the reason. Jesus the reason I say. Come on, give Jesus a round of applause. He's worthy of praise this morning. King of my heart. Let's sing it together. Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, here's my song. Let the King of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, here's my song. You are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, let the King of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, here's my song. Let the King of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, here's my song. Oh, you are good. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. Keep singing it. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down.
Goodness of God. I know that sometimes when you're going through something, it's hard to know if you're going to come out on the other side of it and still see God as being a good God. But if you look back through history, if you look back through your own history, if you look back through the grand scheme of things, God is always good. He's always been good, and he always will be good. So if right now you're feeling something, or you're feeling some uncertainty about God's goodness, just remember, reflect in your own life about a time when God has proven his goodness to you. So we've all got those times when he's shown us his goodness. So as we sing this, remember those times with joy.
Let's give God another round of applause. The kids are being dismissed to Children's Experience. And the pastor's coming. He doesn't want a round of applause. He's very humble.
Good morning. Great to see everyone. I want to take an informal poll this morning. So how many folks here are rooting for the Chiefs to win? Can you just go, woo? Let me hear you. Woo. Woo. Okay. All right. How many folks are for the Eagles? Wow. Okay. How many folks want to just see Kendrick Lamar? Yeah. Right there. All right. Let's see. How many folks like this up and down weather? Right? You do? Very good. Very good. All right. How many folks like the new seating? Do you like this right? No? Okay. So mark that down. And it's because it's curved? Is it because there's a thing down the middle? It's dangerous? Dangerous. Okay. It's dangerous sitting in the pew during the sermon, or just there's not enough exits. Not enough exits. Okay, so mark that down. Not enough exits. So if you have like any great ideas in terms of how to like set up a little bit differently, if you could pass those on to Aaron. Aaron's back there. He's waving his hand right now. He would love to hear from you because we're trying to figure out a way to set up the room so everyone comfortable. What's that? Back the way it was, right? Yeah. There's always that thing about going back to Egypt. It's so comfortable, right? All right, so, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so maybe that. But again, we're always welcome to some new ideas as well. So if you got something, pass those on to Aaron so that we can see if we can make that work. All right, so enough of polling. You all are great at that. Let's take up an offering right now. The ushers are going like that. So ushers, if you would make ready for offering, and as they are taking up the offering, let me go over some announcements that we have. Today, our children's department has made Valentines. They're the most precious Valentine's cards. They're going to be out in the connector hallway today. That we will invite you to get some of those cards today as a way of wishing everyone happy Valentine's Day. And again, that's from our children's department. Excited about that. And since the Super Bowl is going to be over today, you're probably looking for other types of sports activities to do, and we have you covered. We have the Norfolk Admirals game that's going to be taking place. I believe it's March 7th. The puck drops at 7:05. Registration for that need to be done through Realm by February 16th, and I think the cost is $18 for the Norfolk Admirals game, where they play hockey and they fight each other too. So it should be a great time. So come and be a part of that. Let me remind all the women in our church here that our ladies retreat, women's retreat, is going to be the deadline to sign up and do so by Realm is February 14th. So that's just a few days away. So mark that down. The other thing I want to attach to that announcement is, since a lot of our women are going to be down doing their retreat, men, you need to pack the church. You need to pack the church. Don't, the women are clapping, right? While your wife is away, doesn't mean you can play, right? So come in and be a part of that here on the 20th. So I want to make that message to you. The other thing I want to invite you to, we have some really kind of things, these are not part of your announcements, but I want to let you know that tonight is the Super Bowl party, and we spell super this way, SOUPER, Super Bowl party, where we get to watch the big screen football game tonight and bring some dish to share, as well as a canned food item to share that we're going to be able to deliver through our Potter's House ministry. Someone asked me this. I'm going to see how smart you are and see if you're listening. Someone asked me, they said they can't come to the Super Bowl party. Can they still bring a canned food item sometime for Potter's House? And the answer is yes, right? Yes, a resounding yes. You can always do those things, make those donations. So it's so good to be with you. I have a really long scripture reading today. In fact, it starts with Exodus 3, and we go all the way to 32. So so you might want to move in your seat. If you don't have your coffee now, you might want to get, and the sermon's only about 4.5 hours long, right? So are you ready? Yes. You all are so great. Great. See you in just a bit. Well, good to be with you again, this time up here. It's such a different perspective up here. You all look great up here, too. So let me take you through, this is the story of Moses. As we're looking through this Discovery sermon series, we're taking a look at the biblical characters and their stories and how they grew in their faith over time. And I want to illustrate that to you today through the story of Moses. I'm going to begin with Exodus 3, and then I'm going to skip ahead to 32 because I do know there's a Super Bowl that you want to get to. But if you get a chance to read Moses' story, it's just fascinating, just a great story. I know some of you know because you've watched the movie The Ten Commandments or something else like that. It's a fabulous story. But in Exodus 3, this is kind of where it all starts in a lot of ways here. Where Moses was taking care of the flock of his father-in-law Jethro. Jethro was the priest of Midian. Moses led the flock to the western side of the desert. He came to Horeb. It was the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him from inside a burning bush. Moses saw that the bush was on fire, but it didn't burn up. So Moses thought, I'll go over and see this strange sight. Why doesn't the bush burn up? The Lord saw that Moses had gone over to look, so God spoke to him from inside the bush. He called out, Moses, Moses. Here I am, Moses said. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals. The place you are standing on is holy ground. He continued, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham. I am the God of Isaac, and I am the God of Jacob. When Moses heard that, he turned his face away. He was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have seen how my people are suffering in Egypt. I have heard them cry out because of their slave drivers. I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to save them from the Egyptians. I will bring them up out of that land. I will bring them into a good land. It has a lot of room. It's a land that has plenty of milk and honey. The Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, Hivites, and the Jebusites live there. And now Israel's cry for help has reached me. I have seen how badly the Egyptians are treating them. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. I want you to bring the Israelites out of Egypt. They are my people. But Moses spoke to God. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, he said. Who am I that I should bring the Israelites out of Egypt? God said, I will be with you. I will give you a sign. I will prove that I have sent. It will prove that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, all of you will worship me on this mountain. And then as we skip ahead to chapter 32, where they are at the mountain, the people saw that Moses took a long time to come down from the mountain, so they gathered around Aaron. They said to him, come, make a god that will lead us. This fellow Moses brought us up out of Egypt, but we don't know what has happened to him. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, go down. Your people you brought up out of Egypt have become very sinful. They have quickly turned away from what I commanded them. They have made themselves a metal statue of a god in the shape of a calf. They have bowed down and to sacrifice to it. And they have said, Israel, here is your God who brought you up out of Egypt. I have seen these people, the Lord said to Moses, they are stubborn. Now leave me alone. I will destroy them because of my great anger. Then I will make you a great nation. But Moses asked the Lord, his God, to have mercy on the people. Lord, he said, why should you destroy your people in anger? You used your great power and mighty hand to bring them up out of Egypt. Why should the Egyptians say, he brought them out Don't worry, I'll try to be brief and keep the extra points to a minimum because I do. I'll try to speak really loud. Keep going. All right. Keep going. All right, so here we go. Keep following with me. I don't worry in the least bit when I have to take a Sunday off. There we go. Because we have an all-pro in Brett Buckland to preach a sermon. He did such a great job last week. We have a savvy veteran in John Haynes who led us in the communion table. And I tell you, both of you make me feel like I'm the backup quarterback. You all are totally awesome. They did such a wonderful job. And I can't thank you and John enough for kicking off our sermon series of Discovery. And to do so with Abraham last week, who you just heard about. This is how God identifies himself to Moses. If you remember when I read this long passage a long time ago, this curious ex-prince of Egypt who is now turned to shepherd, God says, I am the God of your father. I am the God of Abraham. I am the God of Isaac. And I am the God of Jacob. That's how God introduces himself. And when Moses heard that, he turned his face away. He was afraid to look at God. This is where I want to begin Moses' discovery story right then and there. It's a moment when that burning bush doesn't burn up, but it catches the eye of Moses. It's also that moment, a time out in which to take off his sandals, for where he is walking is now holy ground. And then hearing God's voice when all he really wanted out of life was to be as far away from his past as possible. You see, he didn't want to go back to Egypt. It was a past that included being able to command wealth and power at the snap of a fingers, but also a past of having his world totally turned upside down because of his true birth story. Again, if you read Exodus, fascinating book, you'll find that the story begins with a baby found in the Nile River, conceived by a Hebrew mother, yet named by Pharaoh's very own daughter, named Moses, which I know you all know means being brought or pulled out, right? One day, while trying to understand his birth story and his new reality, right, he witnessed the abuse given by an Egyptian directed toward a Hebrew slave. And that injustice that he witnessed with harsh treatment of the slave produced this fury of rage inside of Moses. And how many people remember the story that Moses then killed the Egyptian and then tried to hide him, right? Tried to cover his crime. The very next day, Moses went out again, and this time he saw two Hebrew men fighting amongst themselves. Oh, the irony there, right? The day before, he saw the oppressor attacking the oppressed, and now he's witnessing the oppressed attacking the oppressed. So Moses intervened again, but this time he did so with a question. He asked the two men that were fighting, he asked the one, he said, "Why are you hitting this Hebrew man?" To which the man replied, "Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are telling us what we can and cannot do? Are you going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian?" And then you talk about an instant replay, right? There it was. And that caused Moses, a turn event where Moses had to run for his life, for Pharaoh wanted him dead, for killing that abusive Egyptian. And the Hebrews at that time, they didn't want anything to do with Moses. They didn't see him as a protector or a deliverer at all. Rather, he was a murderer. And I tell you this because I think you need to know the state of Moses' mind. He thought, right, he was doing the right thing by responding to the injustice inflicted by the oppressor on the oppressor. To the other